It's another Wednesday night, and you're right on time for the news with the extra touch that goes beyond the ordinary. Compliments of the season. Hope you enjoyed the holidays. I'm Ian Ray John, still standing in for your regular anchor, the award-winning Fatima Umar Buba. I'm delighted to bring you this edition of News Extra, the very last in the year. Tonight, the passage of the 2023 budget by the National Assembly and other related matters. Lead a pack. We shall tell you about the latest action of the Inspector General of Police following the killing of female lawyer Omobolanle Rahim. As elsewhere, the long arms of the law catches up with another murder suspect. And as the year winds down, we shall chronicle the events that shaped 2022 in diverse sectors. Also on our lineup are trending stories from the political arena. Our special on a popular delicacy from somewhere in the north, and our piece on the goodies that come with quality sleep are a must-watch if you're planning to up your game where healthy living is concerned. There is, of course, business and sports. We have much more on our lineup, so sit back for the full package and don't be told, as the taste of the pudding lies in the eating. Once again, I'm Ian Ray John, and this is News Extra. Please be reminded that you can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now, and other social media platforms displayed on your screen. All right, we'll begin with the National Assembly tonight as the 2023 appropriation bill has been passed with 21.8 trillion naira higher than the 20.5 trillion naira submitted by the executive. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the Senate also approved 819.5 billion naira for ways and means for the funding of the 2023 supplementary budget.
7th of October 2022, President Muhammadu Buhari continued with his timely submission of budget as he led the last budget of his administration before the joint session of the National Assembly. 2 months after a rigorous journey, the National Assembly has passed the money bill with an increment of 1.3 trillion, arising from additional items introduced after the submission of the budget.
These new funding include Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Health, National Population Commission, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Army, National Institute for Security Studies, Nigerian Police Force, Ministry of Aviation, and new National Steel Council, among others.
We have also passed the supplementary budget for 2022. We expect total implementation, no selective implementation. It should be total because this has been what this administration has always tried to do.
The 2023 budget targeted at achieving higher inclusive and sustained growth, maintain fiscal viability, and ensure smooth transition to the incoming administration is based on oil price of $75 to a barrel, daily production of 1.69 million barrels per day. In the budget tagged Budget of Fiscal Consolidation and Transition,
to authorize the issue for the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 21,827 billion. We also appreciate the cooperation of and understanding of our appropriations subcommittees and our colleagues who submitted and defended the reports after weeks of rigorous budget engagement activities.
The legislators have amended the period for the implementation of the capital component of the 2022 budget from December 31st, 2022 to 31st of March 2023. The Ninth Assembly has sustained the passage of Nigeria's annual budget before the end of the year for the fourth time. Will the incoming Assembly keep to this feat? Answers to this will be known in the next 12 months. Senate has adjourned plenary to 17th of January 2023. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly passed the 2022 supplementary budget of 819.5 billion naira to address the impact of this year's flood. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali reports that the Finance Bill 2022 was also passed in both the Senate and House of Representatives to support implementation of the 2023 budget.
819.5 billion naira 2022 supplementary budget approved by both the Senate and House of Representatives is for capital expenditure, with 704.7 billion naira allocated to Ministry of Works and Housing. 69.2 billion naira is for the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. 30 billion naira goes to the Federal Capital Territory, while 15.5 billion naira goes to Ministry of Water Resources.
Is for contribution to the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of March 2023. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay.
The bill seeks to, among other things, make available additional funds to cushion the effects of 2022 flood on the road infrastructure, agriculture, water, and completion of some ongoing critical projects that has achieved 85% completion.
The two chambers also passed the Finance Bill 2022 to support the implementation of the 2023 budget, with the aim of reducing budget deficit by increasing revenue and reducing losses from tax.
The primary objective of any government is the welfare. But again, you cannot maintain the welfare and security when you do not have funds to maintain the system. We have to look inward.
There are about 11 laws which the bill seeks to amend. Key reforms to specific tax, customs, and fiscal and other relevant laws.
The National Assembly has approved the extension of the implementation of the capital components of the 2022 budget to 31st March 2023. Plenary at Senate and House of Representatives featured passage of the 2023 budget of the Federal Inland Revenue Service totaling 262.9 billion naira. Meanwhile, Senate has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to extend the use of the old Naira notes from 31st January 2023 to 30th June 2023. House of Representatives adopted resolutions to investigate the sale of oil mining license 11 and the killing of Bolanle Rahim by a policeman in Lagos. Plenary has been adjourned to 17th January 2023. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In another development, the lawmakers of the National Assembly have expressed optimism that the 2023 budget will sustain developmental processes put in place by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu captured their views on the budget, tagged Budget of Fiscal Sustainability and Transition.
The budget was passed by the two chambers with expectations that it is designed to achieve macroeconomic stability, human capital development, food security, as well as improved external and internal security architecture.
It gives room for stability of planning by those who depend on whatever happens in the budget and even the economy itself.
Before we came in, the crime was just about 20-25% before Buhari administration. So we have improved it about 35-40%.
What I think the executive is trying to do is to see how best they can manage the kind of battered economy we have.
The legislators are also of the opinion that the budget is based on realistic understanding of the country's financial situation.
Generally, the budget works on an envelope. You do a ratio that since security is priority, okay, let's take this more than a certain sector of a budget, and then the other sectors are also classified based on their importance.
That's what is available in reality. Because looking at the books, you can't give what you don't have. And the best that they have is what they have given to Parliament to think through. And we have thought through it, placed things where they ought to be.
The senators and House members are hoping that the 2023 budget will serve its purpose of ensuring security and economic stability in the country. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And away from the budget, now looking at other issues, the armed forces and other security agencies that would be engaged with various support services in the 2023 elections have been tasked to chart a supportive course towards deepening the nation's democratic culture by maintaining a high sense of professionalism and patriotism in discharging their duties. President Muhammadu Buhari harped on this at the inauguration of the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, newly acquired housing estate at Edu Karimo, Abuja. State House correspondent Adam Osembo was there.
Situated on 2 hectares of land, the newly acquired housing estate by the Defense Intelligence Agency comprises 48 units of 3-bedroom flats, all in suites, and 16 units 3-bedroom terrace buildings with boys' quarters capable of accommodating 64 families. This befitting accommodation, President Muhammadu Buhari says, will definitely enhance productivity of the agency's staff, as shelter not only improves performance but also comfort for workers, families and communities.
This commissioning ceremony further avails another opportunity to reaffirm my confidence in the competence, commitment and achievements of the Defense Intelligence Agency's giant strides across the nation. The acquisition of this accommodation is a great leap forward, but the envisaged benefits would be aborted without diligent maintenance.
While appreciating the efforts of the Defense Intelligence Agency towards meeting his administration's housing policy, the President made a case for the high standard of the facility be sustained so that the value of the enormous resources committed to its acquisition will be realized.
Let me reiterate, as we approach our general election in 2023, security agencies will be engaged with various support and assistance in the elections, particularly with distribution and monitoring of classified materials and other logistics. These must be done professionally and in accordance with standard operation procedures. I therefore urge you to remain apolitical and desist from behavior that could bring disrepute to the agency and our country by compromising the democratic process.
The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General Samuel Adebayo, described the housing estate as a legacy project for the President, as its acquisition followed his directive that the Defense Intelligence Agency's officers and men discharge their duties in a serene and secure environment.
We want to use this opportunity, Your Excellency, to thank you most sincerely for your astute leadership and direction that has taught us to discharge our responsibilities professionally with the zeal to do more. Your continuous direction and concern over the affairs of the agency have been unprecedented.
He also used the opportunity to respond to the President's earlier directive to the agency to spare no efforts in supporting the nation's armed forces with actionable intelligence towards achieving a secure Nigeria, saying so far the results across all theaters of operation have been significantly rewarding.
Your Excellency has approved our request for technical intelligence and advanced technological acquisition. These equipment have contributed immensely to degrading the capabilities of the threat groups in the Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, and South-South geopolitical zones, respectively. We intend to intensify efforts to achieve Mr. President's promise of a more secure Nigeria before the end of your administration, Your Excellency.
The Chief of Defense Intelligence is optimistic that the presidential mandate to the security and intelligence communities to secure Nigeria for Nigerians and others residing therein will be achieved. In Abuja, Adam Osembo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Commander, Presidential Guards Brigade, Major General Muhammad Takuti Usman, has been formally decorated with his new rank. President Muhammadu Buhari, who presided over the ceremony, heaped praises on the newly promoted officer, describing him as professionally outstanding in service to the nation. Again, State House correspondent Adam Osembo has the details.
Born in 1971 in Lapai, Niger State, Major General Muhammad Takuti Usman joined the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna in 1990 as member of the 42nd Regular Combatant Corps. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Physics and commissioned into the Nigerian Army as second lieutenant in 1995. In the course of his military career, the officer participated in several operations both at home and abroad, including ECOMOG Operation Sandstorm in Sierra Leone. Before his appointment as Commander, Presidential Guards Brigade 3 years ago, General Usman was in charge of the 28th Task Force Brigade, Chibok, Borno State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who recalled with nostalgia his tumultuous military career, described General Usman as a very lucky officer to have risen to the height of his military career with distinction and without hiccups.
I never had any cause to report you either to the Chief of Army Staff or to the Minister of Defense or to anybody. Having known the military, for me to be virtually absolutely satisfied with your performance, I congratulate you. I don't think I'm an easy man to satisfy. Those who are working close to me know that I'm too demanding. I congratulate you for surviving that.
The president commended the family of the military officer for their patience in putting up with the challenging assignment he carries out with great aptitude and steadfastness. Major General Usman formally appreciated the president for his promotion, which he said will spur him to do even better in his assigned responsibilities.
I really thank the president. We shall continue to remain loyal to Mr. President and the constitutional authority, because we know our loyalty will go a long way in providing other people's enabling environment to play their own role. The president actually has been of a very great support to Guard Brigade. By that, it means that Guard Brigade is expecting about 420 armor fighting vehicles in Guard Brigade. That has never happened in the history of Guard Brigade. It will really help to secure Abuja, Nasarawa State, which is our AOR also, and parts of Niger State.
Expected to be reassigned soon by virtue of his promotion, General Usman had over the years received several letters of commendation, including the one issued by the current Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, for judicious handling of security issues in the FCT, Nasarawa, and parts of Niger State. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Away from the State House now, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khalibaba, has recommended the immediate suspension of Assistant Superintendent of Police, Drambi Vandi, the officer responsible for the shooting and killing of Barrister Omobolanle Rahim, while waiting for the detailed report on the incident. In a statement, the IGP noted that the recommendation for the suspension of the officer is in line with the internal disciplinary processes of the force and is also expected to create an enabling environment for necessary legal procedures to uphold justice in the case without interference. The suspension is without prejudice to the constitutional presumption of innocence in favor of the officer. Meanwhile, the IGP has reaffirmed the force's commitment to the rule of law and assured the public of his administration's commitment to ensuring that justice is not just done, but seen to have been manifestly done in the matter. Another sad development. Do we call it a case of love gone sour or sheer love for money? Now, this is a story of a 31-year-old man who allegedly killed his 48-year-old girlfriend and took away her cell phone, car, and went ahead to change the vehicle particulars before selling it for 1,700,000 naira in Port Harcourt. When the matter was reported to the intelligence response team of the force, the operatives launched a manhunt on the suspect and arrested him in Port Harcourt. The suspect was paraded at the IRT office in Abuja. And Francis From, who was there, gives us the rest of the details.
31-year-old Ude Mochuku Christian hails from Nkano East local government area of Enugu State, is the alleged killer of his 48-year-old girlfriend, Ijoma Felix.
We actually met online.
Mochuku confirms to have met the deceased in a Facebook group in 2020, where their relationship started on a good note, leading to his relocation into her apartment. Recounting his version of the events that led to Ijoma's death, The suspect told journalists they had an argument over a Toyota Highlander she had given him, which he sold without her consent. After a while, the suspect claimed the relationship turned abusive, with him being the victim.
It was an involuntary hit. Like I said, she was coming up when I showed her after I dodged the several of the blows. She was coming up and I hit her somewhere. I don't know, maybe somewhere around here when she fell. Just anything from here. There was no light, and yes, everyone is going to blame me. Why didn't I walk away and a whole lot of us? I was the only one that wore that shoe and knew what it was. And I know the parts where I got it all wrong, but that is actually was already late before I would be saying all of this.
The victim's elder sister told journalists how she learned about the death of her sister, Ijoma Felix, after her gruesome murder on the 24th of October 2022 at her residence. Investigation further reveals that she received a call from her late sister's caretaker, informing her that Ijoma had not been seen for days and she might be seriously ill. Upon her arrival at the residence, she said there was a foul odor, but that her car was nowhere inside at the estate. After being told that a report had been made at Lugbe Divisional Police Station, she went there but was asked to return the following day as the investigating officer was not on duty. The next day, she went back to the Lugbe Divisional Police Station and met the IPO, who told her they had already made arrangements for the Abuja Environmental Agency to evacuate the deceased corpse to the mortuary. The deceased car, television set, and phones were all carted away, and the neighbors confirmed that the 31-year-old man in question was the last person that came that Monday to her apartment, and they didn't see when he left, and that the car had not been there since he left.
And she said she will not do it to somebody. It's okay.
The deceased elder sister said the family wants justice. Meanwhile, the first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said the arrest of the suspect followed the directive of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, to fish out the culprit and to ensure justice for the deceased family. Francis from NTA News.
Very painful to watch, and we hope, as the IGP has promised in Omobolanle's case, justice is also served in this case and all other cases of murder. Now let's head to Calabar. Governor Ben Ayade has promised to compensate families of the deceased persons of the accident at the Bikers Carnival in Calabar. This was when he visited families of the deceased at Bogobiri, a Hausa Fulani community, and the victims at the Navy Reference Hospital, Calabar. Paul Abel completes the report.
Tragic accident which occurred along the Bogobiri axis of Calabar along the carnival route caused by an errant driver is described as a sordid page in the carnival history which will not repeat itself again. Driven by empathy few hours after the news broke out, Governor Ayade is visiting the Navy Reference Hospital to give the necessary support in cash and kind to enable the victims recuperate as fast as possible.
Fortunately, what happened yesterday happened. And painfully, it happened here in Bogobiri. It's as if it was planned. Please, we have done investigation. The Commissioner of Police is your own brother, so you know he will not come and tell you what is not true. The person who was the driver is in his custody, and they have interrogated him. When he was forcing himself through the barricade, he said he's a naval officer. We have found out that he's not a naval officer. We have found out that he's just a boat driver and just deceived those people, and when they stopped him, he was fighting them.
Leaders of the Hausa Fulani community where the accident took place also speak.
In fact, it's God that gives and it's God that takes, and to tell them that look, this thing is not His Excellency's doing. As far as we are concerned, His Excellency will finish very, very strong.
Challenge I'm having, there are a lot of other victims that have injuries and so on, which those injuries, I think it's not minor. it's a major.
Earlier, the Ministry of Health and the Primary Healthcare Development Agency had visited the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital and the General Hospital Calabar to commensurate with victims, while assuring them that the government will take care of all their bills and provide all things needed for their quick recovery. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The tragic incident that occurred at this year's Calabar Carnival involving bikers is one we hope and pray does not happen again. Now, gone are the days when bikers were regarded as hoodlums and rough guys, as the new era encompasses people of diverse professional careers with penchant to impact the lives of the less privileged and nation building. This submission is from the horse's mouth, the bikers themselves, when they converged on Calabar, the Cross River State capital, for the 2022 Bikers Carnival. Paul Abel, again, captured some of the sights and sounds of the biking carnival. Let's see this.
These bikers, career professionals, as medical doctors, engineers, politicians, religious clerics, among others, who have traveled several kilometers from outside the country, northern Nigeria and other parts of the country, have converged here in Calabar to change the narrative on the perception of bikers, despite its positives of fun, togetherness, and as a means of exercise in sports.
Biker is all about the kind of humanitarian service and the brotherhood.
This festival is a means of uniting the people together. Either you are Hausa, Yoruba, Efik, Igbo, Muslim, Christian.
I think if you are participating, you need to first of all go with your safety, like the helmet and every other thing.
As bikers, we do charity and then pay school fees, buy books, do medical checks.
On the part of government, it is also a tool to promote unity using the Bikers Carnival.
So, of course, it's actually international. So, it's the purpose of uniting people. And you know what bikers are?
It has been great. I really love it. I'm so happy that I'm here for the first time.
It's been a long while I've been seeing this on television. So I thank God for being part of it live today.
Performances of cheerleaders and vintage car parade thrilled the spectators. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
So much fun in Calabar at the carnival, I must say. All right, away from Calabar and the fun, let's talk about power, which is a serious issue. Sufficient and constant supply of electricity is indispensable for the economic development of countries. Now, this applies to all areas of wooden economy, beginning with the production sector all the way to homes. It's a mixed grill of events in the power sector in 2022 as correspondent Joshua Ojito highlights gains and challenges that shaped this critical sector in the outgoing year.
2022, an eventful year for the power sector, with interventions across the value chain to meet the growing demand of electricity consumers in the country. With less than 5,000 megawatts of power generated, which is inadequate for a country of more than 200 million people, federal government sustains interventions in 2022 in the generation arm of the value chain, with the Zungeru hydropower project nearing completion, expected to add 700 megawatts to the national grid.
The first quarter of next year, we'll come here with Mr. President to come and celebrate the commissioning of 700 megawatts of carbon-free electricity into the national grid.
A deal for another hydropower plant to be built in Makurdi, Benue State, sealed with committee for the project inaugurated. The transmission arm of the value chain receives more attention in 2022 as the Transmission Company of Nigeria acquires more infrastructure, the highest since privatization of the sector in 2013. More new substations like that of Bichi in Kano State, Akure, Oka, and one out of the 5 ongoing substations project in Abuja, among others, completed, while other old substations upgraded.
the transmission company is a go-between and the conveyor. So it will improve on transmission or cascading of power between generation at the upstream and transmission in the middle down to the downstream. And the beauty of it is that system protective devices help to enhance HSC, earth safety and environment, and the safety of the grid infrastructure. So reactors, transformer for load dispatch from dispatch center down to the distribution subsector, all the equipment that have been procured is the right way to go.
Arrival of first set of 6 mega transformers under the federal government Siemens deal in 2022 excite electricity consumers who are optimistic that the intervention will be a game changer in the sector. Interventions in renewable energy and rural electrification continue in 2022 with more rural areas, federal universities and healthcare centers connected with solar home systems.
It's solar connections of 5 million. That was what the NESP program had, and this includes mini grids, solar cabins, solar home systems, and so it's all put together.
We have been facing a lot of challenges on the electricity. We so much appreciate the federal government now that they brought this to our environment.
However, the gains of the sector are not without challenges, as commercial banks take over ownership of 5 distribution companies for failure to meet up loan obligations acquired during privatization in 2013. Also, challenges of metering, energy theft, liquidity crisis and grid disturbances persist in 2022, with industrial unrest by staff of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, which disrupt power supply nationwide. Projecting into the new year, industry players and consumers are hopeful of stable electricity market that will translate to longer hours of power supply. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Many thanks, Joshua, for that package. Of course, it is the hope of every Nigerian that the power sector will experience much better in 2023, of course, with no great collapse. All right. Black marketers are still having a field day, making brisk business as fuel scarcity persists in the last week of the year in some parts of Lagos metropolis. Amaka O has a situation report.
The Christmas holidays are officially over, and as expected, life is back on the streets. But so are long queues at fuel service stations. Black marketers on standby, making profit and providing fuel at higher prices to customers who cannot wait for long hours.
If you come meet me, I go enter police station, go buy fuel. Okay. I go buy fuel, I go sell am. I dey see small money. Small money, but because I dey eat, I won't eat.
Here, the major marketers are selling at the approved pump price. The reason for the long queues, these customers lament their woes, describing the situation as worrisome.
The impact of this scarcity is everywhere. It's affecting our businesses, it's affecting our homes, it's affecting even our morale, it's affecting all that we do.
Yesterday, I bought seats at Bagada at the rate of 240 naira. So even some people are even quarreling with the attendants there that they said the day first they sell it at the rate of 200. So yesterday they now put 14 naira on top of it.
What I experienced yesterday, where they used to carry maybe like 200 naira, yesterday they charge 500 naira, and we couldn't argue it, we couldn't contest it.
Letting the fuel circulate quickly so that people can be able to get the fuel easily. So I will not be on the queue. Some of my colleagues they slept here till daybreak.
Bringing a lasting solution to the fuel scarcity experienced across areas in Lagos State will put smiles on the faces of a lot of Nigerians in this city. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Very true, Amaka. Now, with just 8 weeks to the 2023 general elections, the voters have become a beautiful bride, and the political parties are winning her vigorously. We have a review of party activities and matters surrounding the elections when we return. Please stay. Thank you for staying. Let's talk politics. The People's Democratic Party in Sokoto State has pledged to focus on human capital development through various empowerment policies, as well as provision of basic necessities of life to the people of the state. The PDP governorship candidate, Malam Saidu Umar, and other speakers at a rally held in Dange Shuni pledged to continue to meet the needs and aspirations of the electorate as demonstrated by the Tambuwal-led PDP government in these last 7 years. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal told the gathering that his administration's developmental initiatives are quite visible and evenly spread across the state, cutting across all sectors.
Women, we thank God that the people of Sokoto State are living witnesses to the achievements of this administration. God willing, when you elect Bala Obandoma as governor of Sokoto State, he will continue with these legacies of good governance, of infrastructural development, of promoting education and healthcare and the well-being of the people of Sokoto State.
Main highlights of the event was presentation of PDP flags to candidates. Meanwhile, it was what could be described as display of political unity and sagacity for the All Progressives Congress in Zamfara State, as Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali flagged off his re-election campaign on the platform of the party. The event attracted the presence of all the former governors of the state and their deputies, as well as a great number of other APC bigwigs. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The Zamfara State All Progressives Congress APC campaign flag up held at Oranamura Township Stadium is widely described as unprecedented political gathering in the state in recent times. It brought former governors of Zamfara State and the leaders in the state and the impact it would make on the outcome of the 2023 general election. Chairman of the APC Gubernatorial Campaign Council, Abdulaziz Yara Abubakar, was emphatic on the need for APC supporters in the state not to discriminate against any of the party candidates at the polls. Governor Bello Muhammad, who was elated by the cheering crowd of the party supporters at the event, said his administration plans to introduce more empowerment programs for the youth and to execute a number of capital projects in the area and the state as a whole if given another mandate. High point of the event was the formal presentation of the APC candidates for national and state assembly seats from the zone to the crowd by the state chairman of the party, Alhaji Tukur Umar Fulani. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And now heading to Kano, Vice Presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Kashim Shettima, has assured that the Tinubu-led federal government will be mindful of citizens' demands and responsive to criticisms and advisories. This was during a visit to elder statesmen in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
Political activities in the country were put on hold by the festive season, while majority of key players joined family and friends to celebrate the Yuletide. The APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima remained on the move. For 3 days, he has been in Kano visiting and greeting elders. Among those visited are elder statesmen Alhaji Tanko Yakase, Malam Musa Gwadebi, Brigadier General Lord Jafar Isa, and renowned business mogul Alhaji Aminu Dantata. The visit, he explained, is not only to greet them, but seek their blessings and wise counsels. Such, he believes, would be significant in the successful implementation of the APC presidential candidate's agenda for Nigeria. As done by other elders visited, Alhaji Aminu Dantata thanked Senator Kashim Shettima for the visit and enjoined Nigerians to remain united and work towards the development of the country. Before leaving Kano, the APC vice presidential candidate inspected the about-to-be inaugurated ultra-modern cancer treatment center established by the Ganduja's administration.
I believe Governor Ganduje has rendered the greatest service, not only to Kano, but to the entire Nigerian nation.
The facility, he believes, will help in reducing medical tourism and make cancer treatment affordable and accessible. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Nigerian Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs has pledged renewed efforts to complement government's efforts at maintaining harmonious coexistence among Nigerians to ensure peaceful and rancor-free 2023 general elections. The position of the council was taken at its extraordinary meeting held in Abuja, with the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, leading.
peaceful coexistence in the country, and the need to really come together in unity, understanding to project the good image of this country and the role of the Muslim Ummah, and then quest for peaceful, credible and fair elections that we need to see in this country.
The Nigeria Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs is the highest supervisory and decision-making body of Muslims in the country. In other news, Nigerians have strong inclinations for their faith, with religion molding their beliefs. Nigeria's multi-religious nature has continued to be explored for good, with better understanding for peaceful coexistence. Religious correspondent Abdullahi Ajiya in this report gives us high points of 2022 in the religious circle.
Of the year 2022, like any other year, was greeted with high spiritual expectations, and as a people of faith, Nigerians, both the Muslim and Christian faithful, committed and trusted God for individual and national interventions, especially in the areas of security and economic prosperity.
Subconsciously, we believe that there is a God somewhere, and that God plays key role in regard to the outcome of our lives. We've had a way of managing ourselves, knowing that God is there, knowing that God is able to give us hope, and we can have better Nigeria.
We love to worship God, and our country presents the opportunity for us to worship God in truth and in spirit. I think the year 2022 has presented opportunities for us to worship God because we have religious freedom.
The Quran says, "Wala tujadilu ahl al-kitabi illa billati hiya ahsan." You should not dispute with the people of the books, referring to Christians and Jews, except those areas that you know. It will bring peace, it will bring better understanding.
The Christian Lent season and the Muslim Ramadan fast are two holy periods early in the year that we are used to seek God's interventions for the country. In what formed the chronicle that shaped the year spiritually, Nigeria's Interreligious Council, NIREC, continued to midwife a high-level interfaith dialogue for better understanding, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence among adherents of both religions, as members harp on social justice as parts of the ingredients for a united Nigeria.
Without justice and peace, life itself will be impossible.
It is expedient that we work together for justice and peace and give hope to our fellow citizens.
Sermons from the church and mosque, week in, week out, throughout the year, provided a living seed in the minds of adherents to be upright as good citizens, to contribute to nation building. July 28, 2022 was historic for Christians as Daniel Oko took over the mantle of leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
We're trusting God that we're going to see a redeem in CAN, where CAN will be the light in the society.
11th of October, in the year under review, witnessed the conferment of National Honors Awards on some prominent religious leaders for their role in the entrenchment of morals, values, and championing peaceful coexistence in the country. It was not a year devoid of challenges. There were pockets of shortcomings that affected the propagation and evangelism, especially using the pulpit for politics. The clerics advise that discussions on the table of dialogue must be sustained for the gains of a united Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajiya, NTA News.
You know, in some climes it is said that religion is the opium of the masses, but some say that is not true for Nigeria, because Nigerians in general love God and serve him through different religions. Many thanks, Abdullahi, for that package. Looking at other news now, the provision of safety nets for citizens is one of the priority areas of the federal government. Millions of Nigerians, especially the vulnerable, have benefited from the various social intervention programs of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Ruth Agwele, in this report, highlights some key achievements of the ministry in 2022.
Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development remains committed to providing the necessary support and the enabling environment for social protection and inclusion policies.
A stern commitment by the ministry in the first quarter of 2022 to live up to its mandate. The year in review for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development was eventful, with high expectations to meet the growing demand of the poor and the vulnerable through the federal government's National Social Investment Programs, NSIP. The program, which has been tagged as one of the largest social programs in Africa, impacted many lives.
With this program, because I am using the money to sell cap.
The money I used to buy food for my family.
Now I have something to come and buy and put in my table, but there was no money. Now I have the 10,000. I'm very, very glad to have the 10,000.
This has been in the history of Nigeria the government that will recruit the largest number of unemployed graduates in the country.
The year in review, the ministry successfully enrolled all 36 states and the FCT under the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Number of public schools enrolled is more than 56,000, and number of pupils benefiting from the program is more than 9 million. For the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program JIP 2.0, more than 38,000 have benefited under the trader money. More than 43,000 persons have also benefited under market money nationwide. A total of 81,503 JIP beneficiaries have been credited with 50,000 naira non-collateral loan in the first phase of disbursement for the NPower scheme under Batch C Stream 1 and 2. 1 million unemployed youths have been enrolled. More youths have also benefited in trainings on ICT and other vocational skills under its various capacity building programs for the conditional cash transfer. More than 9 million persons are benefiting as captured under the household uplifting program of the CCT, with 1.9 million households represented. As part of commitment to social inclusion, 10% of persons with disabilities have been included into the National Social Investment Programs. Aside interventions under the NSIP, one-off cash grant of 20,000 naira was flagged off across the country to vulnerable groups to ease the burden of poverty.
And this money reached me to do small market. I'm thanking God.
To ensure accountability and transparency of the social intervention programs, independent monitors were engaged by the ministry, and civil society organizations were also carried along for effective monitoring and compliance of the various programs. Although the impact of the 2022 flooding that affected lives, farmlands and livelihoods increased the number of displaced persons in the country, the ministry reached out to affected states with the distribution of 12,000 metric tons of grains approved by President Muhammadu Buhari and non-food items through its operations agency, NEMA.
The ministry, through the National Emergency Management Agency, has already provided warehouse facilities in the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation to receive the items.
With the successes recorded in addressing humanitarian crisis in Nigeria, there are still challenges, even with modalities put in place for sustainability of its various intervention programs. The expectations are high for more empowerment and restoration of hope, expected to be met in 2023. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
And still looking at the year in review, the year 2022 recorded many activities to shape the fortunes of Nigerian women for developmental strides. However, there are still challenges to overcome in the projections for the future. Talatu Izarike takes a look at the gains, pains, and prospects.
It was a year of massive economic empowerment and skills development for women in various streets and the provision of startup packs and loans as well as other national social investment programs. Hawa Abubakar, our tailor in the making, is one of the many women who are among 82,000 beneficiaries of government programs initiated to lift 100 million people out of poverty in the next 10 years.
Thank God, we are very grateful. I was into poultry farming, but I know with this, it will really help me more in going into big scale farming than the one I was doing before.
Women also benefited in several areas, including initiatives to tackle climate change and government electrification program.
When you are working alone, you'll be scared, but since they are flying the solar now, we'll be able to see lights everywhere we are going. And it's a very big achievement, it's a great achievement.
The success stories of infrastructural development in railway, roads, and the reconstruction of the second Niger Bridge are also of great benefit to women.
That second Niger Bridge is a good work. There's no any hold up again. There's no hold up disturbing anybody. It will help our people that are coming back and those that will travel back or travel to buy their business.
The story is not different in security, bearing in mind that women and children are worst hit in insecurity matters.
The situation has drastically improved as we now go about our legitimate activities without fear.
I'm happy that our women have been settled in their ancestral homes. Women have been settled with their families, and they are now living in their comfort zones.
Other areas of win for women are gender inclusiveness and the domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, VAP, by 34 states, as well as the domestication of the Child Rights Act by more states.
As a member of the Nigerian Children's Parliament, I will perform my function honestly to the best of my ability.
In the political terrain, the story for women has continued to be of concern as they still record low representation in spite of their numerical strength.
The women are tired. They need something refreshing, something more authentic, sincere and genuine and compassionate.
Where God has helped us, we have an Amazon that has emerged as a governor, a gubernatorial candidate for the first time under a ruling party. That is distinguished Senator Aisha Binani from Adamawa State.
The women are on the march again. President Muhammadu Buhari's body language, many say, tilts in favor of Nigerian women, going by his appointment and the national award bestowed on the likes of Amina Mohammed, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General, World Trade Organization WTO, and many other outstanding women, doing the nation proud.
You know what they say, if you want something said, ask a man. But if you want something done, ask a woman. No woman, no nation. Beautiful package put together by Talatu Ezerike and voiced by Chindima Odubisi. All right, we'll take another break. In the next segment, we have a special on women peddling to profit. Our business anchor, Musa Abubakar, will also be around to tell us how to mind our business this season. You want to see that? Stay with us. Welcome back. Masa, or Waina, as it is also called, is a popular delicacy in the north, but there is something about the masa from Birini Kebbi that those who have eaten it say makes it irresistible. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu in this report gives insight into why you can't come to Birini Kebbi and leave without a taste of the delicacy.
Every beautiful morning in the ancient city of Birnin Kebbi, especially along major streets, T-junctions and motor parks, you find a cluster of people who leave you as a visitor wondering what could be attracting the crowd. If you stop to find out, you will be amazed to find out people are queuing for a breakfast of masa or waina as you choose to call it. Prepared specially in such a manner that people prefer to buy from the street than homemade. You will not be able to resist it at first sight. The delicacy, which is common among the houses across the northern part of Nigeria, is made mostly from rice and sometimes maize and guinea corn, served with vegetable soup to balance the diet.
Masa da ake yi wato
This masa we are selling beautifies the street. If you attend any occasion, once there is masa, people will ignore other food and go for masa. A lot of people here in Birnin Kebbi preferred eating masa. That is why I'm selling it, and you see the masa everywhere.
The popularity and patronage of this meal also goes beyond the street, as it is also a delicacy served at every occasion one attends. Although masa is not limited to Birnin Kebbi, why is that of Birnin Kebbi so special?
And in terms of economic, you want to take only 4 or 5 at a day. I will easily watering myself without any consumption or taking much money that I will use to buy food.
Is the traditional food that we are having, and it is also a combination of both soup and combination of oil and rice together. And particularly when you eat masa in the morning, you'll get a komo.
Honestly, not only me, but a lot of people like masa. In fact, what will you bring us in his house to buy masa outside?
Aside from the major nutritional value of carbohydrates, protein, and the complement of vitamins, minerals, iron, and water used to prepare it, you are not only sure you are eating right, but tasting rightly. So next time you are in Birnin Kebbi, endeavor to spoil yourself a little with this delicacy you will never forget. Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
I hope you didn't attempt to lick your screen. Abdullahi, of course, I've eaten masa in Abuja, and when I visit Birnin Kebbi, I would really want to taste your masa. All right, sleep is the third pillar of good health, along with exercise and nutrition. But people don't attach much importance to sleep. Olukemi Sani in this report seeks to create sleep awareness as a way of increasing the overall health and well-being of Nigerians.
Experts say it's therapeutic and healing. For adequate physical and mental health, 7 and 8 hours of quality sleep every night is recommended. This is because a good sound sleep, especially at night, enhances memory, ability to cope with stress, and improves the general well-being of an individual. On the other hand, poor sleep pattern will make the individual cranky and not be able to concentrate while making silly mistakes. 33-year-old Felix Negi sells second-hand clothing at the popular Ojoba market in Ado-Ekiti. The busy father of 2 says sleep eludes him almost every night.
Like someone will get up in the morning like 6 o'clock. The following 6 o'clock in the following day has no rest. So in that case, when you go to bed, there's a tendency for you to feel some kind of pain.
And 8 o'clock in the night, I will wake up by 2:33 o'clock. The urine usually wakes me up.
Medical experts say a good number of those who come to the hospital have sleep-related disorders, stressing that this can have some serious adverse implications on productivity and health of the populace.
If some system your body, are unnecessary stress, what will happen? They break down.
It has also been discovered that sleep actually regulates our blood pressure. So for those people that sleep optimally, their blood pressure tends to be normalized, thereby reducing the risk of the cardiovascular diseases.
But why do some Nigerians find it difficult to sleep at night?
So a lot of things, especially in students, you see these students, they won't go to bed on time. They will be on their phone 24 hours. At times you discover that when they get to the hospital, it be as if they are going insane.
Experts advise the likes of Felix not to carry the pressure of life to bed at night.
When you walk, you get tired, your body is saying, you need rest. You need rest. Just obey.
Sleep is said to be the third pillar of good health, along with exercise and nutrition. As the connection between sleep and good health is real, this is now an opportunity for you to look at your own sleep habits, search for ways to improve on it, and as well
practice good sleep hygiene. Olukemi Sonny, NTA News.
Look at me. My question would be how you ended that report while you were sleeping. But for those who have lived in Lagos or who live in Lagos, my question is, how many hours do you sleep at night? For me, I try to sleep optimally, but I don't think the businessman here, Musa, has a lot of sleep because you have to do business. How many hours do you sleep at night, Musa?
Let's say 6, sometimes 5, because I have to come very early.
Well, that's not optimal. You need to work on that.
Of course.
So let's have business news.
Nigeria's Naira extended losses on the official market on Wednesday to a record low of 461 Naira to the dollar as trading resumed after the Christmas holiday and the currency weakened to cope with high foreign exchange demand. The currency hit a low of 460 Naira 20 kobo earlier, down from its opening position of 454 Naira 98 kobo. Refinitiv data showed. Now to energy. Oil prices deep on Wednesday as traders weigh concerns over a surge in COVID-19 cases in China, the world's top oil importer, against the chances easing pandemic restrictions in the country will boost fuel demand. CNBC reports that Brent crude futures fell 1.8% to $82.75 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 1.5% to $78.33 per barrel. Nigerian stocks gained on the first trading day of the holiday shortened week to sustain the winning streak, a signal that Santa is still in the house. The all-share index rose by 0.46% at 49,934.6 points as investors traded 498 million shares in 3,989 deals valued at 3.8 billion naira. Equity capitalization rose to 27.198 trillion naira. Baristas Capital Assurance PLC, Access Holding PLC, and Guarantee Trust Holding Company were the most traded stocks in terms of volume. That's business news. Here is back to you.
I want to thank Musa for that business update. So one of the factors identified as drawback to development in most African countries, including Nigeria, is the corrupt activities being perpetrated by individuals and corporate bodies with ulterior motives. Now, the Nigerian government, through the instrumentality of the law, is beaming its searchlight on the activities of such shady organizations that act as facilitators of illicit financial deals. Olabode Arewa has details.
The pursuit of progress is the aspiration of peoples in all nations, but when it eludes them, they seek solutions to their challenges. Since independence, Nigeria has embarked on several national development plans, but these have not recorded the envisaged results. Economists finger corruption as the major culprit for this, as money stolen from the public purse is diverted into illicit financial activity. These illicit financial flows, which are movements of illegally earned money to hide their sources, include drug cartels using the profit from drug trade to invest in other sectors, engaging in under-invoicing to evade the payment of taxes, using non-governmental organizations as funds to fund terrorist activities, investing their illicit funds in real estate property, and so on. The International Center for Investigatory Reporting estimates that in Nigeria, at least $18 billion are lost annually to illicit financial transactions. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, ICPC, and other anti-graft agencies have intensified sensitization of Nigerians on how to recognize and report financial crimes in their environments, advocating a register of beneficiary owners of landed property in view of the findings that the sector is being used as a conduit for illicit financial flows. A major outcome of recent moves to outlaw illicit financing is the seizure made or process of crime by the anti-graft agencies under the Federal Ministry of Justice. As part of its anti-corruption efforts, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Justice, has recovered over $1 billion from corrupt individuals in the last 7 years.
Federal Ministry of Justice, within the 18-month period I am talking about, was actively involved in prosecution of 312 criminal cases for various offenses, including terrorism, maritime offenses, armed robbery, cybercrime, kidnapping, among others. We have so far, as a ministry, secured over 1,000 convictions on terrorism.
The FCC said it recovered $386 million, 152 billion naira, and 30 automobiles in 2021 alone. And in June this year, the ICPC raided a property in Maitama, Abuja, where cash and other valuables were recovered from a military contractor. This is apart from the 166 billion naira ICPC said that it recovered within the last 30 months.
The non-profit sector is a unique sector that provides services to humanity across the world. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, the sector has been at risk of terrorist financing. In particular, the vulnerability of the sector has been a global concern, as it has been used to raise, move funds, and provide logistical support to terrorist organizations, not only in this country, but across the world.
Recently, Nigeria joined the Beneficial Ownership Leadership Group, being championed by the Open Government Partnership to stop illicit financial flows in the mining and oil sectors. As a fallout of this, the nation is developing a beneficial ownership register to forestall the activities of anonymous companies. Experts believe that the most effective way to limit illicit financial flows is to increase financial transparency, along with sustained public support for government's whistleblower initiative to expose economic and financial crimes. In Abuja, Olaboderewa, NTA News.
Let's take a break. More news when we return. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, says a line in the national anthem, with the hope of inspiring patriotism and commitment. Hallmark of Labour, a non-government organization, is pursuing similar objective by recognizing notable contributions of worthy Nigerians. This time around, 12 distinguished Nigerians, among them former Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Dr. Tony Iradia, was recognized for their outstanding impact. Lynn Leneke reports.
Men and women of repute have, by dint of hard work and moral uprightness, planted their footprints on the sands of time. The joy of these recipients knew no bounds as they took turns on the stage to receive their prestigious awards. NTA's former Director General, Tony Iradia, bagged an award for excellence in leadership and professionalism in the media.
As DG of NTA, I was receiving an award every week. But now that I'm no more in that office and I'm still spotted to be giving an award, then it means that some research has gone into it and some people have found some of the things I did that perhaps make the mark.
Other distinguished Nigerians, including Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, were recognized for promoting good governance.
When you look at the caliber of people that receive award from this very important organization, and I think this will give me the courage to do more to the good people of Borno State as well as Nigerians.
Elder statesman Chief Emeka Anyoku called on Nigerians to continue to uphold the important virtues of integrity and hard work.
Who should rightly be aspiring to significant positions in the two sectors, to adopt and pursue a greater of the lesson that I have just enumerated.
Director General of the NTA, who was represented at the ceremony, said the media not only amplify positive values in the society by shining a light on them, but also show good examples through their operatives.
It is something to be glad about, that we are getting back to reckoning again, and that we are taking our pride of place in the broadcast industry in Nigeria.
With this array of exemplary leading lights, Hallmarks of Labour is optimistic that Nigerians can toe the right path.
It's important that people should do well, and that if you do well, you will be celebrated.
Since its establishment in 1996, the Hallmarks of Labour has bestowed the Role Model Awards on over 100 Nigerians. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Another break is due. Please stay. The First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has received with shock the death of Mrs. Eunice Adesina, mother of Professor Akinwumi Adesina, President of Africa Development Bank. The First Lady described the death of late Eunice Adesina as a loss to not only her family, but the nation as a whole. Mrs. Buhari prays to God to repose her soul and give the family fortitude to bear the loss. Also, Imo State government has announced the passage of one of its illustrious sons, the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, Professor George Obiazo, who died after a brief illness. In a statement, the Governor, Hope Uzodimma, describes him as a renowned academic, an exceptional diplomat, statesman, and a tenacious patriot. He notes that the death of the former Nigerian ambassador to the United States and the State of Israel is a big loss to Imo State, the Southeast, and the entire country. Burial arrangement is to be announced in due course by the family. The death has also occurred of Ezine Veronica Ovute Dike, née Ozioko, popularly known as Nwanyi Nsuka. She was aged 62. Late Ezine Veronica Dike was a devout Christian who left an indelible footprint on the sands of time, both in the church and community service. The burial arrangement announced by the family indicates that there will be a line in state at her husband's compound at Amelugu, Obimo Nsuka, Enugu State. The funeral service is scheduled to hold at her husband's compound by 10 in the morning. This will be followed by interment at the same venue. Ezine Dike Nwanyi Nsuka is survived by 5 children, grandchildren, and other relatives, including Kenneth Nanim of the NTA. And that concludes News Extra tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. Have a good night. Have a good night.